Good morning. Welcome to SUNDOWN Sports, the premier sports podcast in the Southwest. Today, it's April 24th, 2023, and the first episode, we call it The Sun Rising. It's the beginning of the greatest, and some would say the number one sports podcast in the Southwest, if not the whole country. I am Mark. My co-host is Kyle, and together we have one day of podcasting experience, but a lifetime experience of bitching about sports and talking about sports. We're both big underdog sports fans. He's a big fan of the Knicks and the Jets, and I'm the Dolphins and the Jazz. Teams that will, what seems like, never be. Always invited to the dance, never the main stay. Without further ado, though, I say we just jump into it, the NBA and the very interesting NBA Finals. Something I want to talk about the NBA Finals this year is the storylines, the matchups, I think are at an all-time high. The teams going against each other right now, you have people who probably are fair weather fans just invested. You got the Lakers against the Grizzlies.
Yeah, the Grizzlies.
Yeah, the Lakers going up against the Grizzlies.
And that young fella, the villain of the NBA right now, Mr. Brooks.
Dylan Brooks. And the Lakers are the 7th seed?
Yeah, they had a weird year this year, and the play-in really helped them. And I think that's kind of like a controversial issue that the NBA had was this play-in tournament. You obviously want your product to be really good. So, like, people were like, why would you invite this 9 and 10 team, arguably could be under 500, whatever year it is, to even have a chance at playing the number one seed in the playoffs? This year, I think it worked out. The play-in tournament was pretty nice. But the Lakers were just one of those teams you could just tell, like, those top seeds were like, oh, I do not want to play that team. And Memphis got really unlucky with that matchup.
Well, you got Ja Morant, Dylan Brooks coming out there trying to run the Grizzlies like some type of powerhouse that they just aren't yet. They haven't been there. They haven't gone there and done that. They're acting like they deserve to be one of the top teams in the West and maybe the NBA. And LeBron's just kind of reminding him, the playoffs are different.
Yeah, I think Memphis had a tough end of the year where they had some really big injuries to their big men with Steven Adams, and it's tough. I think that, and Ja Morant got injured towards the end of his season as well, and separate but very similar point is none of these guys are 100% healthy. So like Ja Morant's playing, but he's clearly not himself like he was when he was playing at in February. But yeah, it's a tough deal going up against the King, the GOAT, in his 1 millionth season, where he just seems to like
never age.
Yeah, he gets it done, and that's what kind of the playoffs seems to be about, is the big dogs just kind of doing their thing and pulling their teams through. And you get kind of clouded from watching March Madness and having these crazy upsets, and in the NBA it's just different. The big guys just know how to get their teams through.
I think that's huge. Yeah, you're not going to have some underdog Cinderella team really come in and be something that, LeBron James and the, Jimmy Butler, they know what everyone's like. So when they have to go play a game, they know who they're going up against. Giannis knows what he needs to do. He's not out there just messing around in game 1, 2, or 3. And these guys are still trying to figure out, especially these younger teams. You got, I think a big storyline is the Heat Bucks.
Yeah.
Just Miami seems to be running away with it.
Yeah, the Giannis injury is really tough. That team is obviously incredibly talented with Middleton and Lopez being a great defensive anchor and in his later years of his career, but like not having arguably one of the best players in the entire NBA in the last how many ever years. It's tough. I know the Heat were not great this year, but like you said, the Jimmy Butlers of the world are just going to figure some stuff out. Now the Heat got Oladipo hurt recently too, and he's done. But no Giannis. I wrote that I think that team is in like red alert if they don't win tonight. They'll be down 3-1. That's just tough to come back. You just feel that pressure.
What are your thoughts on the MLB has that 5-game series when you're in the beginning of the playoffs, which I'm a fan of. I just think playing a 7-game series for your first round is just a lot on teams, and then you kind of game plan to where, game one isn't really that big of a hurdle if you lose it. But in a 5-game series, it is. I think the NBA just too strung out on the 7-game series.
Yeah, you start looking forward and looking past certain games when you just have so many games. Like, I think 7-game series are a lot in almost any sport. I think it certainly helps prove like which is the best team, because you're playing so many times, and it's always those cliches. If these teams played 10 times, who would win? So you hoping to get the best team to get out of it, but it seems like at this point it's like very repetitive, because you've played them a bunch in the regular season, and now you got to play them in this series. I think 5 is plenty. Obviously, basketball is very tempo based with fast breaking and runouts, and a large part of what people like to do. And now the 3-pointer is like the biggest thing, but there's only so many plays like in your playbook, in your half-court sets, and then you're only playing like 7 to 8 guys max. So I think you just get pretty diluted by whatever game. And I'm not even saying towards the end, because you could just have some weird stinker games in the middle of the series because you're just either exhausted, you're looking past it, you have an off shooting night. But I don't know. I think that these guys they get a little bit, I don't want to say bored. I think that's like a lame sports thing to say, but I think that they are definitely like, okay, am I going to get up for this game right now, knowing like we just played terribly in the first half, knowing that we're going to travel tonight and head back there. I don't know. I'm going to give you this stat. So there's Nets versus 76ers. The Nets in their game 4 loss to the 76ers shot 24% from 3. Now, the response is, well, the Nets lost, so they probably shot poorly on a losing effort. Yeah, that's true. But here's another one. Knicks versus Cleveland, game 4. Cavaliers shot 6 for 23.
It's terrible.
The Knicks shot 8 for 29. That's 26 and 27%. Is that good for the sport? No, that's ugly basketball. Some series have been great, though. I mean, the Warriors, Suns, Heat all shot well throughout their whole series. But you're just going to get stinkers, and I think that's what happens when you play tons of games. You have my bigger point is the regular season's too long, and I know that's a very easy thing to say too, but like you don't need this long of a regular season. By February, you got teams that are just bored. Like LeBron is just bored.
And like load management was a big topic. I don't think LeBron had injuries. I think he just was load managing and didn't want to call it that.
Yeah,
I think he was just like, I'm just going to sit out this game because my foot hurts, or whatever. I'm going to go to a foot doctor. Then you see videos of him at like nightclubs just raving. You're like, is that dude's foot really hurt? Or does he just not want to play pointless games? But, the Lakers did need to win. And then when he did need to win to get into, at least the play-in games, he did win. I think something interesting, I'm looking it up right now, is you've got, how many series are at 3-1?
It seems like a bunch of them. I like they're either the Sixers finished theirs. They're
4-0.
done. They thankfully got the job done without Embiid, so it gives Embiid some breaks.
Well, we got Nuggets, Timberwolves 3-1, Celtics, Hawks 3-1, Knicks, Cavaliers 3-1, and then we just talked about how the Sixers just washed out their team. I don't even think anyone knew the Sixers were playing.
Yeah, because that Brooklyn series was tough. Like, the Nets had Durant and Kyrie for, like, half the year, and then they traded them. So they had, like, a nice running start to, like, get a crappy seed in the East. And then, they just struggled to play.
Didn't even show up.
Yeah, James.
Who's their young point guard? Or their young guard? Kind of grew the Nets.
They had Bridges from Phoenix, right? Didn't he have a nice little year for the Nets? And then obviously Ben Simmons not playing for them is just like that's probably one of the weirdest not talked about.
That was not Ben Simmons. Well, Bridges came out and said, I feel bad that we got swept. Like, it's like you get traded to a team that had KD, Kyrie, and Ben Simmons, and you're thinking, these guys are going to help me, and they just all abandoned you and left.
Yeah, I don't know. That team is tough. They're gonna have, hopefully they'll have a nice future with just a blank slate, but I wouldn't trust anything like that. Them making the playoffs that's the worst team in the playoffs, and I think everyone could agree on that.
Well, they've run this up. We got Miami tonight, 2-1 over the Bucks. Probably gonna go 3-1. They're at home, and you got Giannis out, and then Lakers 2-1 over the Grizzlies. So every series but one, who went 4-0, and the other one went 2-2, is at 3-1.
Yeah, the Golden State is tied from last night.
Which close game.
That series is good.
That was a terrible. I sent this out yesterday on our. I tweeted this out. Good for fighting back. They were down a decent amount in the fourth quarter, and they came all the way back to get it within one. The play was terrible.
The last play?
The last play was terrible. He drove it in. He got crowded. He kicked it to a three. They didn't even need a three. They needed a two.
They didn't. But that's like where basketball is now. Where guys, it's either layups or threes. It's very few the mid range, and I don't think it was a terrible look by the end. I just don't know why why the play would go there, unless it was just like they didn't
draft up a good play.
Yeah, or like they just got panicked at the end and kind of just dished it to bail it out. But yeah, that'll be a good series. I mean, the breaking news is that Fox is injured for that series, and he's been great. So who knows if he's going to actually play or play. Obviously, other point is that everyone is hurt.
Everyone just wants to light the beam.
Yeah, I don't really care about the beam. The Kings are a great story, but I'm an East Coast guy, so I don't really care. Don't like the beam. Golden State, I don't really. If they win, they win.
Yeah, you're not very invested. Okay, in total, 13 teams have blown 3-1 leads in the NBA playoffs all time. So why are we doing 7? If over 80% of the teams' games this season are at 3-1, why are we playing 7 games?
So, yeah, I mean
it's over.
When you get to 3,
it's over.
It's pretty good.
You're putting time on the players. You're making the playoffs run longer. Now you got the 76ers just sitting at home, nothing to do while they're waiting. They could wait another three basketball games.
Yeah.
Which is going to be over a week and a half worth of time.
I think they don't play until May.
That's insane.
So because the schedule is already mapped out, I'm pretty sure that's how they've done it. Where like even if both teams swept, they might bump it up a little bit, but they like to like make it very generic. Where like they get their schedule, and Philly won't play till whatever. I think it's like after the end of April. But that's the incentive. If you're going to sweep a team, then you get to hang out, and Philly needs that more than anyone.
True. They need to get everyone back and healthy.
Yeah, the word is that Embiid is like at 50% with his knee, and that's not going to work. Especially whoever they get matched up with next. If it looks like it's going to be Boston, that's going to be a war.
The Heat are going to. They're going to win. If they win tonight, they'll go up 3-1. Giannis, they're probably not even going to play Giannis. And in Game 5, and we're just going to have the Heat done. Moving on. You got the Sixers moving on. You got the Celtics.
Yep. Celtics playing the Hawks, who are terrible.
They were just terrible. They were good for that one. Like, everyone got excited last year for Trae Young. It was like, oh my God, Trae Young. Just doing nothing this year. He did put up 35 points in the last game, but it's just, he's like the Donovan Mitchell now of the East. Well,
Yeah.
I guess Donovan Mitchell's in the East now. But just puts up good points. Has a lot to say on social media. Team never really pushes past anything.
Yeah, I mean, they got a coach fired mid-season. They had some weird issues with arguments and fights. I don't. That's a team that's just happy to be there. There's a couple teams that are just happy to be in the playoffs, and the Nets were one. That's another one. I think the Timberwolves are one. Good that they won yesterday, but like, I think Denver is just next level talent-wise, and I knew they were going to blow one game. I think that they could afford to, especially in Minnesota, just a gimme game. But Denver.
They put it to overtime. We knew it was a rat line.
Yeah.
-4. The Vegas just wanted you to bet the Nuggets, and everyone like, oh, the Nuggets are going to close this out. -4, they'll cover that. Vegas probably made a lot of money off of
suckers like us.
Yeah, suckers like us. We knew we called it. We said, hey, this is a rat line, but we love the play. Didn't work out. We went 2-1 yesterday on our bets.
Yeah, it's pretty good. You do that all year, you're gonna make some money.
You're gonna make money. Follow us on Twitter, Sundown Sports, and just look out for our Sundown Lock of the Evening, our early bird gets the worm picks too. Those are always good. It was 1-0 yesterday. The Cactus Run.
That was against your Diamondbacks.
That was that was the Jalen Brunson.
Oh, the Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, we threw out the Diamondbacks, but that was just great. Mr. Picks himself just looked and saw that, D-backs were resting players. The Padres had Manny Machado back and just blew up the D-backs. They almost came back.
Yeah,
7-5 was the final. One thing about the NBA, that I think is very hilarious. The Suns. You just look at the roster and you're like, who stops these guys? Who stops Chris Paul? Who stops Booker? Who stops KD? And then whatever role players they put in there. I mean, you could be on that team. You'd be like, oh, we're going to go far. But it just seems like the Suns can build a good roster and then they get overshadowed.
Yeah, the Suns did the right thing with the Durant injury. I think that's their only fear right now is like someone tweaks something because they're so good right now. But if you take away one of those three, then they become like a 4 seed, a middle of the pack playoff team. So they need all of them. Ayton's a weird guy for them. He's like, I saw him throw a pass yesterday that was like significantly over Chris Paul's head and yelled at Chris Paul for like not being tall enough to catch his bad pass. It was bizarre, but they've had issues with Ayton, and I think he's probably gone pretty as soon as possible because that team is dangerous.
It's a big take. You think you're rid of DeAndre, and he's a monster. But they got KD now.
Yeah, well, that's why I think you can replace Ayton, let him go get paid somewhere else, and bring in someone younger. Maybe not even younger, but like price wise, just save money. But that team is crazy. I think that Durant being like the one, but Booker being like right there is just, I don't know who else can really keep up with that.
How many years Chris Paul got left though?
Might be. We might be looking at it. If they win here, why would he stick around? That's always been the big monkey on his back. Is he doesn't have a ring. All of his buddies do, except for Melo. But like LeBron and Wade have their rings, and Chris never got his, and injuries and everything like that. I think this is really tough. It's them and hopefully Denver. I'm a big Denver guy. Hopefully they can have a good battle, but Phoenix looks pretty unbelievable. I know they didn't take care of complete business though. They had
they lost the first game.
They lost, and that was because the Kawhi stuff. When the Clippers are well rested and not being weird, that team is feisty as well.
They've been dominating since. I guess you would expect a bigger. Paul George is hurt though, isn't he?
He hasn't played a game.
Yeah,
so that's really tough because they've had to rely like on a guy that they acquired in the middle of the year, Russell Westbrook, who everyone likes to rag on him, but he still is productive in a system like that where they kind of like don't put a leash on him and they're not like the second you mess up we're gonna pull you like it seemed like the Lakers were doing. So he had like 38 points last game, which is like you don't really want that as a Clippers fan. You'd rather someone else do that, but then Kawhi's hurt, of course. He's banged up, and Paul George hasn't even played. So this is like a really tough year again where you don't want to call it a waste of a year, but, I mean, it kind of is. You have two guys in their prime with Kawhi and Paul George who can't even make it to April basketball and be healthy. So that's tough.
Chris Paul, by the way, 6 feet 0 inches. So, not the tallest basketball player. Maybe DeAndre's got a little bit of point.
It was a bad pass.
A bad pass? Okay.
It was, but I don't know. What are your thoughts on the Nuggets? I wanted to hear your thoughts on Denver Nuggets basketball.
I think if you look at the Nuggets as a nobody on paper and just go to a game and look at them, especially the Joker, you're like, who are these teams? Who are these guys? There's no way this is the best team in the West and maybe the NBA. But I think they just play with that under the radar type of skill set where we know we can go out there, we can play our best with our guards, and then Joker can just break you down in the middle. And then over time, we're just going to be a better team. We're going to be more efficient. We're not going to be turning the ball over. We're going to play sound basketball. I think that's what gets them to where they're at now. They also just don't have a target on their back. The Suns have a target.
Mm-hmm.
The Heat have a target. All these teams go into the playoffs. The Lakers have a target. Dylan Brooks forces a target on the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
Nobody gives a shit about the Nuggets.
Yeah. I think the pressure that the Nuggets have, I don't really feel it. I think people are kind of – the media made up that the Nuggets haven't done well with having an MVP for 2 years. The Nuggets were not healthy the last 2 years. They're Jokic is obviously the engine, but like Jamal Murray wasn't playing last year. They've just been so banged up, and this is the first year where
it's been flowing together.
They're not hurt. And I think that when they're playing, they're just so big, man. Like Gordon is huge, and Michael Porter is huge, and then you have Jokic in the middle, and Murray is so talented as a guard. They're gonna have their weird nights. It happened yesterday. I mean, Murray was not good. Jokic was very good, but
Aaron Gordon last night looked timid, which is kind of not his style. He's a very good role player, but he's also not afraid to take the shot. And just like yesterday at the end, I was watching it, and Aaron Gordon would drive. You think he'd have a lane, and he would dish it out. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So he played timid yesterday, but kind of an under the radar number one seed.
Yeah, it's weird. I think that everything you hear on Twitter and on ESPN and everything is like all this like weird animosity towards Jokic for like, oh, is he gonna really win his third MVP? No one ever wins 3 MVPs in a row. That means his team needs to be there. This argument about MVP is so silly, but I'm a big fan of his. He's probably my favorite player. This year he had such an incredible year, even compared to his last year as an MVP. His scoring was down a little bit, but like his numbers were just off the charts still. Like he was second in the NBA in assists as
That's
a
crazy.
7-footer. It just doesn't make sense. The only one that had more assists than him was Trae Young. So he had more assists than Chris Paul. Then your favorite point guard, he had more assists than. And then his rebounding, he was third in rebounding in the entire NBA.
Who's my favorite point guard?
I was just saying the collective audience.
Oh,
like
yeah. I thought
their point guard
you're making a
is,
Donovan Mitchell joke.
No. Like if your favorite point guard was Rajon Rondo, Jokic had more assists than Rondo this year.
And you wouldn't believe that.
No. Well, maybe because you would if you knew Rondo wasn't playing this year. But if your favorite point guard was Goran Dragic, Jokic had more. Shot selection. Jokic shot 63% from the field this year.
That's big.
That's top 10. I think he was 9th. Everyone that's before him, it's usually big men, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they dunk. Everyone that was before him shot the ball 500 times less than him. So he shot something like 1,000 shots this year. Everyone else shot 500. And he still was
63%.
63. So all of them had less opportunities to, miss and make. And then, he shoots 80% from the free throw line, but he's not one of those guys that like lives at the free throw line like a Harden or even Embiid had a lot of free throws per game this year. I think he was above 10, and Jokic was like in the 6 range. So I don't know. I think he had a great year. It's going to be a shame if he's not going to win MVP. They'll give it to Embiid or maybe even Giannis. But I also think, having said that, if the Nuggets don't get to the conference finals, they're in trouble, and they might have some weird blowing up to do.
With their team?
Yeah, I think you're as a 1 seed and you have the MVP arguably for 3 years in a row, and you don't even make it to the conference
finals. True.
You might have to start looking at like. Well,
I think they make it. I think they make it to the NBA finals this year. I think they get past the Suns. The Suns just are that team. I think that you got to. KD's got to make it all the way to the conference finals. Jokic is gonna make it. The guy's just a built man. He's gonna be there.
But it's gonna be. I think that's the team that's gonna challenge them the most. And then obviously you have the weird Lakers.
Yeah, I don't think I want to see who would Denver play next.
They're the 1,
so they would go
Lakers up against. They would go up against like the 4-5 and then the 6-3, right? Because that's how like the bracket works. So okay. I don't think they'd have to play the Lakers. They'd have to play the other 2, like middle of the pack teams. So like the 4 versus 5, and then the 6 versus 3, because the Lakers are the 7 versus 2.
Yeah, and
they don't reorganize the bracket. So like the Denver doesn't get to play the worst seed because they're the 1 seed. They're just stuck. They're stuck to where they're playing. So
kind of good for them. Golden State.
Yeah, they'd have to play Golden State.
They'd have to play Golden State. So they probably do want the Kings.
Yeah, I that's another team, right? Like the Lakers, like Golden State, like they've been there. You don't want to play that team.
No,
they know how to handle business.
I think we should talk about the most Well, real quick, before we move on to the most relevant team, the craziest team, Nikola Jokic has no shoe deal. Two-time MVP, no shoe deal. He wears the Hyper Dunk X.
Yeah, he's a Nike Hyperdunk guy, which is dope. And there was like a lot of rumors that he was going to re-release it this year, or Nike was for him, and it never came out, which is a shame. I wish that they did because I would have loved to buy a new pair. But yeah, he's just a Nike guy. Like he doesn't have his own shoe; he just wears Nikes.
Nice swear,
but
that's
he
insane.
likes Hyperdunks. He likes the big classic old man 2010.
He probably has a
basketball
deal
shoe.
in his hometown for like some boots for horse riding.
Cattling.
Yeah,
Something cool.
the best team right now, NBA, not the best physical NBA team, but the best team to follow. It's got to be the Knicks. You're a big Knicks guy.
Big Knicks fan.
Big Knicks fan.
It's the team I love the most.
I'm afraid for the country if the Knicks win. They're riding every day.
Yeah, this is like a PSA to all the Knicks fans, and maybe because I've just been hurt so many times, but like, let's act like we've been here before because we're gonna just get lit up if Cleveland comes back. I mean, I'm glad that we're embracing these wins because the team is good. I don't think that they're anything special. I think if we get lucky that we'll play either a banged up Bucks or not a good Heat team in the second round, and we actually have a chance to make it to the conference finals, would be like, you couldn't really ask for anything more than that. But that Brunson is just a stud.
He's just a stud.
That kid is awesome, and they got him for, people said at the beginning that it was overpaid, whatever. You got to pay guys to come and play, so they got him. He's been better than expected. I think Randall is a little bit weird. But
his shot selection sometimes makes you wonder what is he thinking. 10 seconds in the shot clock, just shooting a contested three.
Yeah,
so he makes them sometimes.
Yeah, he's a guy that you just live and die with because he's really passionate and he can carry your team. I think that they know what they have, and Brunson is their guy. I think Randall's like their 1B. And it's just kind of tough because like Randall made the All-Star. They paid him a ton of money too. But like if you asked everyone watching these games, you'd rather have Brunson with the ball than Randall.
Well, let's look at it right here. They're 3-1 against the Cavs. The highest scoring point for each game for the Knicks on the wins, Brunson. On the loss,
it's probably Randall.
Randall.
Yeah, I mean he's. When we first got Randall, and he's developed a lot more from when we got him, he was a big like spin move, dribble it off his knee, goes out of bounds, lefty. Knicks have a lot of lefties, which is kind of cool to watch sometimes, but he's come a long way. I think he's going to have his bad games, but why not do it now? Let's see how far we can go. But the fans are, boy, they have not. You would think they would know. We've lost so many times for the last 20 years, and we're in the first round of the playoffs, and we're having street closures in Manhattan. It's bizarre.
They're feeling themselves.
It would be really nice if the stars aligned and they get a nice matchup. If they got to win in Cleveland and stuff, but a nice matchup in the second round. I'm all about just competitive games for the future. If they can play competitive, meaningful games, let's go. I'm signing up for that.
Do you think Brunson gets exhausted as the finals goes on, or as the playoffs go on?
No, I don't know. He's a young dude. He
doesn't look the most athletic. You don't look at like DeAndre Booker looks athletic. Chris Paul looks athletic. Brunson
doesn't. It doesn't help because he's so short. He's got like the Chris Paul body. I think Brunson's 6'1", left-handed as well. I think he's like one of those guys that he's never been a dude that's like gonna dunk on you, so he just knows his game so well, and he's just really crafty. Like I like those kinds of guys in the NBA because they're not gonna hopefully do some stupid stuff like John Moran, try to dunk on three guys.
Yeah,
they're just gonna like
it's a John Moran special,
crafty, finagle you and high IQ you, and he's great. He's been wonderful. I hope that they just continue to build around him and see what they got. But they have really good other pieces. Josh Hart's been wonderful for them. He's just been like such a spark to get. They both went to Villanova together, him and Brunson. And Mitchell Robinson's been phenomenal in
RJ Barrett just plays with heart. The guy just goes out there and just crashes
I know.
boards. Plays with heart.
RJ's another guy in the Randall boat. Is like you live and die on him. Like he had some really bad games to start the series, and then he's been good recently. So like you need him to step up. They picked him so early in the draft recently. He's like 22 years old. So like you can't dump him. But like the games where he's like 0 for 6 from 3, you're like, God damn it,
Tough
man.
games.
You're a small forward right now. NBA 2023, you need to shoot the 3, but it's exciting. New York sports.
Jalen Brunson 6'2", 190.
6'2". Look at that.
I think that's a lie.
He might be shorter.
I think
They might have given him some shoe height, like 1 inch for his shoes.
Just looking at him on TV, and I know the TV makes the tallest guys look small. He just doesn't look taller than 6 foot.
Yeah, he's not tall. But the Knicks are very tall, so maybe they just make him look very small.
New York's back. New York had a break in the 2010s, and they just weren't as dominant. You had all these other teams in every sport move up.
Yeah.
2020, 2023, New York's back.
I think so. I think the tough part of New York sports right now or the last 15 or so years, is the only teams that really won were teams like I didn't care about. Like the Giants had some Super Bowls, which good for them. Because the Jets never like even sniffed that. But I think right now they're at a good spot. I think you can look at almost all the teams and be like, yeah, you know, that team has had a decent year. There's no more laughing stocks. I think the Jets are...
They're trying not to be a laughing stock.
They're getting there. They had a weird year this year, but there's so much to look forward to that no one cared. Like they have such... This is the most talent I've ever seen on a Jets team, besides the ones that made it to like the conference finals.
I don't know who... When you guys brought in Robert Saleh, did you bring in a new GM? Or was the GM there beforehand?
Yeah, the GM is Joe Thomas. Or Joe Douglas, I'm sorry. And he came in. He's been really good. He's had some good drafts. He's had some weird draft picks that haven't really worked out. You know, the quarterback stuff has been tough. But Douglas has been good. I think... Him and Salah seem to like be on the same page. This last draft they had was really good, but in general, I think that it seems like it's like a fun place for free agents to come to play with, and I think it starts with the coach. I think you have a coach that isn't like a weirdo, and players actually want to play for a guy that's like passionate and not a 60-year-old weird guy.
Yeah,
it kind of helps. Similar to like Miami, where you have like a younger guy that's like just like can actually relate to these dudes and like give some sort of perspective that's not like super old school.
I would say though Robert Saleh and Mike Daniels probably opposite ends of coaching philosophy.
Yeah, they're both, which is good though.
Good. I think they both have the same goals, like connect with their players and then push your style and support. You know, I think support is huge. I don't think a lot of professional teams get support from their head coach. They just get told what to do. But you have Mike McDaniels you probably smoke a joint with on the weekend, and Robert Saleh, who would probably have you over for a very nice dinner.
Yeah, and maybe take you to some sort of religious outing afterwards.
Yeah, we're gonna go have some red wine, go to the opera, and then light some candles.
Right.
But they're getting there.
Yeah, I think so. I think New York Rangers good.
Does no one talk about the Islanders?
Islanders good. Islanders in the playoffs.
They're getting destroyed by Carolina.
Yeah, they were like one of the worser seeds in the playoffs, but hey, you make the playoffs. It's nothing to poo-poo. Brooklyn Nets, doing their thing. They made the playoffs. They're going to have a lot of money to spend this offseason.
I don't even think anyone in New York still considers Brooklyn part of the New York
when they
landscape.
Had Kyrie and KD, it was scary. It was like, oh boy, they're going to take over, but it didn't last. Yankees, Mets, both doing fine. The Yankees just lost their first series of the season. They've been like getting like if it's a 3-game series, they win 2-3. But they just lost their first series, so they've been off to a nice start. The Mets.
Who'd they lose to?
Toronto. I think they lost to Toronto yesterday, but
can't lose divisional.
No, but it's early, and they're. I'm always very pessimistic about the Yankees because they're the only team that I loved growing up that actually won. Like I watched multiple World Series from them, so like I'm so invested that they will do well that I get like paranoid. Everyone else I know they're gonna do bad. Like the Jets, I'm like, okay, they're probably gonna be bad. Same with the Knicks. Been bad forever. So the Yankees I get very freaked out at when they're not doing well because I'm like, oh, they're supposed to. But they're doing fine.
The Mets 14-9. The Yankees hold me on that.
I think they're very similar.
Yankees, I've got it. It's coming. 13-9.
Yeah.
Mets doing better. There's a certain personality who blows up every day on the New York Mets. To the point where if I was watching this personality and you pay attention, you think the Mets are sub 500.
Yeah, never won a game probably.
Yeah, they're 14-9.
Yeah, but that's like a classic, to an extreme, New York sports fan where it's just the sky is falling every single time something bad happens. But he's been hurt a lot, that poor guy. His teams have not won anything, so it's tough.
Tough. Good for New York. Good, New York doesn't ever have a lot going for itself in the sports world. Really glad that they finally have a year to themselves.
Yeah, we need it.
Yeah, well, except that Aaron Rodgers just. We talked about this offline. We talked about this a lot. And no pressure. Aaron Rodgers apparently is not worth a first-round pick.
No. This is the week it's going to happen because the draft is on Thursday. This is such a fun week. And maybe it's because I'm a loser Jets fan and I only look forward to the draft because it's the only sense of optimism I have for my team. But I love this week because I love the draft and I think it's so much fun. The Jets cannot trade their first-round pick because if you're Aaron Rodgers, you want the Jets to keep that pick to make your team better. Do you want a second-round pick? Yeah. Aaron Rodgers, sure, to build up whatever next. But you need that first-round pick to make your O-line better. That's what the Jets would do. They're going to draft best player available O-lineman and say, here you go, Aaron. This is your team. You can have all the O-linemen possible, healthy, and then you go into next season. I think Aaron Rodgers is probably at like the foot of this and being like, do not fucking trade a first-round pick for me. It's silly. We need that pick to become better. It's not like it's like the 27th pick. It's the 13th pick.
Does Aaron Rodgers care? Or does he just want his money? Do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to go to New York and be like, we're winning the Super Bowl here? He's obviously going to say that to people.
Right.
But his day-to-day mindset, do you think he just wants to get out of Green Bay?
I think so. I think that they've either been weird about it. They've probably taken him and Favre for granted, having all these quarterbacks that have been so good for the last 20 whatever years. And, he's pretty jaded. You could tell. He's obviously an interesting, unique kind of guy. I think that he's playing like the cards well of like, I do not want the team that I'm going to get as worse. I want them to stay like to possibly get a little bit better after I get here. So first round pick, way more valuable than their second round pick. Get a really good player there. Trade away second round picks and see what happens. I think it's gonna happen this week. The draft makes stuff move. June seems to be this day that people are like, the Packers won't wait till June because if they do, then they owe Aaron money like split over 2 years, so they want to get it done. It's just it's a nice Mexican standoff, and I think it gets done pretty soon. I just really hope the Jets don't trade a first round pick because they get some sort of pressure from fans. But it seems like the fans are kind of understanding. They're like, no, we don't want to throw away. We had a bad year last year. Like we had some bright spots, but like you have a bad year, you get rewarded by a decent pick. 13, that's exciting. You're going to bring in a good player. Don't trade it.
Who do they have the Jets taking at 13?
It's going to be some O-lineman. That's what it seems like from various spots, all the mock drafts. But it seems like they had their lineman was really bad last year. They had injuries galore. But it seems like,
Zach Wilson was really bad last year.
Right. They had terrible quarterback play with terrible line play. A lot of injuries. Their best lineman got injured. So he's coming back this offseason, who they just drafted like in the first round 2 years ago. Then they have Mekhi Becton, who's lost a ton of weight and is going to come back. So people are like, well, they have all these linemen. Well, they're going to get hurt again. So you need another, all-pro lineman, hopefully some guy that's going to start all your games. So
yeah, they've got Paris Johnson out of Ohio State on one guy's board, and another guy's board's got Broderick Jones. Just tackles, bring in tackles, build up. Which that's like Robert Saleh's in his third year.
Yeah,
That's like a first year tactic.
Yeah,
Build your line and then get behind it.
they got all the explosive players last year, though. Like, they picked
They
running
did.
back last year, and people are like, why'd you do that? And he ended up being a stud. Brees Hall, and then Garrett Wilson last year. I think that it's exciting. It's not going to be sexy for the people that are drafting, which is fine. But the Jets fans need to, like, not be stupid and, like, think that it's like a dumb or a bad pick. And I think they're fine. I think we're used to getting hurt, so I think this is
Brees Hall, comeback player of the year. That'd be my vote right now. I think that guy comes back. I think he dominates in the run game. You're either gonna get Aaron Rodgers, or I think that I don't know if Will Anderson will fall to 13. I think if Will Anderson is there at 13, you guys take him.
which one, the Kentucky guy?
That
Will Levis or whatever?
Lamar. No, that's Will Levis. That's the white dude who threw.
Anthony Richardson.
Oh, Anthony Richardson. Okay.
The dude from Florida.
The Florida quarterback.
I don't want another quarterback. I just don't. It'd be cool. I want a later round quarterback that can, that can watch Aaron Rodgers and whatever. But I think all the Jets fans are pretty convinced that he's coming. It's just a matter of what are we giving up.
We'll see.
Hope so.
Free agency kind of dominating the NFL draft. Aaron Rodgers, I think he loves this.
Yeah.
If you talk to 100 casual NFL fans, you ask them what day's the NFL draft this year, I bet you they couldn't give it to you. They're going to tell you that it's this Thursday.
Right.
I think that everyone is just dominated by Aaron Rodgers. What is going to happen? Is he finally going to pick Lamar Jackson? Is he going to be content in Baltimore? What's he going to do?
True.
We'll see. A lot of
my child's going to make a guest appearance on pod.
Nora, who do you got? Denver Nuggets, Phoenix Suns. Just
You're not going to answer. That's
no,
fine.
fine. Keep your picks to yourself.
That's whatever, Nora.
You want me to pay?
Yeah, you got to get. Nora makes you pay for her picks, so we'll never do that.
Never. But hey, you gotta hustle. You gotta keep the hustle. I respect it. I think. Speaking of picks, we're gonna give him a shot. We're gonna call him. I think he may be mid surgery right now.
The locks of the week, of the day.
Oh, Mr. Picks, are you there? What are you doing? Just
We can edit this out. Don't worry.
Just calls and hangs up. He was zipping.
It might have been in his pocket. It sounded like. Are you going to work? All right. See ya.
Are you doing anything fun at work?
She's not allowed to say.
Oh,
It's very secretive.
okay. Well, I guess we'll just get into our 3 picks. The locks of the week, the locks of Tuesday,
These were sent in.
sent in by Mr. Picks himself. He's our guest. Mr. Picks, unfortunately, is in the middle of surgery right now. We try to get him on the line while he's on the operating table. Just not possible, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I got to say, I've been around a lot of gambling minds. This is one of the better ones out there. This is not a shtick. This is not. We have no incentive to give out these picks. He picks winners.
He just picks winners. He puts his own money on the line, which I think is expected, and he just provides winners.
Yep.
And I wish I jump on them more often.
Yeah, you listen to our sound of regret, because don't be like us who after the fact go, dang, I wish I followed that. I wish I rode that wave. Just ride it.
Just ride it. Right. You're gonna get some wrong. I don't think in the history of gambling anyone's been batting 100, batting 1,000. Nobody's ever done that.
No.
Ride him. He's a good guy. His 3 picks, and these were sent in for tomorrow. according to him, no way Denver is losing at home after their collapse.
Denver. So he's picking Denver.
He's picking Denver
to beat the Timberwolves.
Jamal Murray is the Jamal Murray of old, and that's bad news for Minnesota. That was just his take that Denver is going to come in. I don't know what – I wasn't given the spread on that.
I'm sure it's going to be around that same number. Is Denver going back home?
Yeah, it'll be home.
Okay.
Game 5? Yeah, they don't do that weird 2-3-2 thing.
Yeah, that's a I love Denver in that. I think we all agreed offline that Denver was, if they were going to lose a game, it was going to be last night, and they did. And I think they finished things out. I think he's totally right on that.
Denver's spread right now is -9.
Yikes, that's a lot of points.
That's a huge amount of points.
Holy cow.
He's riding Denver. Denver -9.
Is he taking the points?
The money line is -405.
That's a bad bet.
That's a bad. Like, you're just not going to -405.
So he thinks they're going to handle business.
Just going to go in, just destroy the Timberwolves. We're riding Denver. The second pick that we've got going on, I mean, the Denver one, if that one hits, that's what we're telling you. That's what we're trying to say. If the Denver one hits, this guy's out of his mind. The Suns at home need to win. They can't afford to play Game 6. I'm true on that. You need to give KD his rest.
Yeah.
For KD and for CP3.
What's the spread there?
Easy win in Game 5, he says. Easy win. -12. -12.
These are big favorites.
These are huge. I don't know about -12. The Clippers get 12 points. Vegas obviously is in agreement with Mr. Picks.
Yeah.
Right? Like, Vegas is like, yes, Nuggets are going to take care of business. The Suns are going to take care of business.
Right. The question is how much.
Right. By 12? That's intense. Those lines will drop.
Yeah, I think so. But maybe you see it by game time. You see what right before tip what those numbers are at.
8 points. Hopefully on that Suns line you get down to 8.
Yeah.
12's huge.
Single
Beating
digits.
a team by 13 points in the playoffs, not very common.
Okay, what's the third pick?
Third pick, we're going to go a little outside the line here.
Oh,
LA Kings +1.5.
okay. A
And
little hockey?
Little hockey picks. The 3 of their games, it's true last night, went to overtime. So both games go to overtime. And we all know once a hockey game goes to overtime, the 1.5 is money.
Yeah, you're safe. You might as well shut it off.
Yeah, take the plus whatever, 1.5 game. The other team scores, who gives a rat's ass? You're in there. So we're going Kings +1.5. This pick is covered in those 3 games. Winning or losing for the Kings, it's always covered.
Now, who do they play? I'm not a big hockey aficionado. Do you know their matchup for the Kings, and are they home? So that's a big home hockey playoff. They get last subs. They get certain things for them.
I will say this. I was thinking about hockey the other day. When was the last time a West Coast team won hockey?
I think it's the Kings, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was the Kings. Kings are +1.5, and they're in Edmonton. But, America over Canada all day.
I'm going to tell you what you can do. If you parlay all of our experts' picks right now, money line. Let's just say money line. And then the spread for the hockey, because you want some help. It's not as terrible as it could be. It looks like it is.
This is on FanDuel.
Okay,
FanDuel?
I'm using the Barstool app.
Oh, Barstool. Okay.
If you money line the first 2, and then just points for the Kings, it's +139.
That's easy. That's almost easy money.
You can put $100 on it. You get 139 back to win, which would nice payout of almost $240.
Okay, maybe let's dabble a little bit.
Okay.
Let's see what with the spread.
Oh, with the spread would be pretty good. I mean, you're looking at a pretty big parlay. Let me see. Now, granted, these games, I don't believe the Nuggets just played, so this game would be for tomorrow, right?
Yeah, tomorrow. These are tomorrow. These are all tomorrow. Listen to us early in the morning. Wake up on your way to work. Put us on the pod.
+534.
534. Do you want $534 in your pockets to start your week? Ride with Mr. Picks. I'm not saying it's a guaranteed. Do the money line if you don't like winning 500. Nora loves winning $534. She won't tell us her pick, so you got to pay for hers. She'll lock you out. Those are huge. Those are huge spreads.
I like where his head is, though. I like the handling business when you have to handle business, but it's
home.
It's a lot of points. Do you want to just fade Mr. Picks? You could do that and then lose all your money.
Yeah.
Who's to say?
I think since we started the Twitter, we've gone 5-2. I tweeted the first day that we went 5-0. Mr. Picks went 5-0 that day. I didn't share any of his picks. I was flabbergasted. I don't want to put it out there like just trust us.
Right.
But since then he's gone 4-2, 5-2. We've had some other celebrity picks thrown in there. Don't want to give too much away, but we're pretty squared away.
I don't know. We're not going to give you MMA picks. Like that's not our thing. But we'll give you some interesting player props and other things. Just stuff to think about.
Oh, was that Davis Garcia fight? The boxing fight?
Yeah.
That they were betting on that?
That's a big who cares for me.
Well, the one guy, you saying the two next to each other, the one guy looks like a professional boxer, like he's about to destroy it. And the other guy looks like a pretty boy out of nowhere.
Yeah. His hair was very well groomed. He gets good points for that. I'll give him that.
Got his ass rocked.
He didn't do well.
No.
But he looked good.
I think Mr. Picks would have looked at that and known who to go with.
True.
I think we should move on to a hot topic for Sundown Sports.
Okay.
And it's the 2-sip drink review.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's right.
I'm not saying these will be the hottest drink reviews, but they will be the hottest drink reviews. Today, on the 2-sip drink review, usually you can catch our energy drink favorites. We're in the first episode, we're already going to go a little wild.
Yeah, this is unconventional. I think we want to... This is sort of a special occasion. I've been looking for these, and I finally found them. So these are the High Nooners, the tequila seltzers. So that's a nice crack.
Nice crack.
Damn, that one's nice too.
2 sips, just get it going.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's...
Before you go, Kyle, and then let me say your reviews are solid. I think they should be the gold standard going forward. I'll just give my 2 cents. The High Noon tequila tastes like what you expect from High Noon. If you like High Noon vodka, you're going to like the High Noon tequila because it has that same familiar taste. You could definitely tell it's a different alcohol. It's obviously tequila.
Yeah.
And it does punch it a little bit. It's got the face. I got passion fruit. Passion fruit is what it is. You're either a passion fruit person or you're not.
Right.
2 sips in.
What is a passion fruit?
No one knows. It's a purple fruit. We just call it passion.
Right. It's like fruit punch. Like, what is fruit punch? Just a bunch of fruits.
I will say, I think High Noon is at a base 7-0.
Yeah.
7-1 for the passion fruit.
So that's not great if that's the base. Now, just in case you guys are keeping track at home, it's no added sugar. They are gluten-free, and it's 100 calories. Quick story about these kinds of things. There was a person that I worked with who gave these a hard time one time and was like, whether it was White Claw or whatever, and then he was like, hey, I had them over the weekend. I had like 7 of them. It's pretty cool that they're 0 calorie. And I was like, that's not true. They are not 0 calorie. They're 100. Now, it's not, a ton, but still, to think that they're 0 calorie, I thought was hilarious because this guy was fat. But anyway, 4.5% alcohol is not that much.
No, it's not a lot. You gotta pound these back.
I really thought it would be more because of being tequila. So 4.5 is really not a lot, dude. Have you those cut waters? Have you ever had those? Those are like
the
12.
The ranch waters?
No, it's called cut water. It's similar to that, where they have like Mai Tais and other things. Their Mai Tai is like 13% alcohol. It's off the chart. Okay, so the lime one here. It's good. I think it's really refreshing. I'm going to give this like an 8-1.
I like that.
I really like this one. But it's also like your basic bitch margarita kind of taste. I think you put it on rocks, it'd be really good. I think it's easy, simple. I'm a big fan of these. I always have been because I just like girly drinks. So that's good. That's kind of game changer in that department because I've had a bunch of them and that one's good.
I had one yesterday. Was at a party yesterday. I had the High Noon Strawberry, and I think the best part of the High Noon Strawberry was I felt the strawberry taste.
Right. It wasn't artificial.
And it wasn't. I told the guy I was with, and maybe I had too many other drinks beforehand because I got really talkative about it. And I was like, the High Noon Strawberry was delicious. I would have given that. I don't have it in front of me. I don't want to review off memory, but I'd give that an 8 as well. Nora, not for you.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Actually, never. Probably. Not allowed to ever. Yeah, that's what you have to say. I know, we've had it from you. Too much to say. Read your book.
And
interesting, though. I don't know what I was expecting. I guess I was expecting a Marge, and it tasted like a Marge. But I thought it'd be more alcohol, which is good and bad, because I kind of like the ones where it's like one drink and you're good to go. This one, it feels like you'd have to have, even though it tastes strong. Like, you taste the tequila.
Yeah, and maybe we're lightweights. You drink, you instantly feel, with tequila drinks, in my opinion.
Right, you feel
your
like
blood
you're
is
gonna
warmer
do it.
already.
Yeah.
Like, I'm already ready to go.
But maybe it's an illusion. Maybe tequila is such a strong taste that
it just makes the mind think.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I'm getting drunk, and you're like, 4% alcohol is not going to get you anywhere. But
we do a lot of drink reviews offline through the Twitter,
yeah,
and on your gram.
Yeah, on the Instagram, I try to review energy drinks. I'm a big no sugar energy drink review guy, so
we'll have to throw it out there. These Rise ones have come up.
Yes,
I don't know how long they've been around.
Us, right? To us, that's a big thing. Maybe they've been around, and sometimes they take a while. The trains take a while to get to the Southwest.
That's true. The trains do take a hot minute, and they're very good.
Yeah, interesting flavors. I think people are starting to like. I'm a sucker for the gimmicky other brands that are incorporated. Like, my protein powder is Ghost, and it's Ghost like Oreo. And I'm like, oh, Oreo? Like, I'm a sucker for that. So, like, these brands, Rise is doing, like, Smarties and...
I hate to interrupt you right now. Aaron Rodgers is a New York Jet.
Oh, my God. What? Can you read the picks to me? If it says first round, we're shutting down this whole...
For the second time 15 years, the Green Bay Packers are trading an aging icon to the New York Jets.
Okay, what's the pick?
We're going to have to go to Twitter.
I'm going to fucking freak out.
This is insane.
I'm closing my eyes. I'm not watching anything because I just want blind reaction. You're going to hear it when Mark tells me. And do not lie about it to try to get me all pissed off.
Okay.
Are you going to read it to me or are you going to make me read it?
No, I'm going to read it. I'm putting it out there right now. Aaron Rodgers is a Jet. Let me get to it. Put your phone down.
You're making me go to Twitter right now.
No, you need to calm. I got it right here. Trade compensation. Are you ready?
Yeah.
You're going to be pissed.
No, I'm not.
Aaron Rodgers, pick number 15. So you guys swapped first rounders.
Okay,
2023 fifth round pick. You guys gave him 13.
We get 15.
You also gave them your second, so you only have the first and the sixth, and a conditional 2024 second round pick. That becomes a first if Roger plays 65% of the plays. So if Rodgers plays all the season, you give them a first round pick next year.
Okay, the Jets gave up quite a bit. It was number 13, number 42, and a 6th round pick that could be a second rounder. They get Aaron Rodgers. They get the 15th pick. Okay, dude, I mean, we get a first round pick this year, and we get Aaron Rodgers. We trade away 1 and 2. First round, second round. Whatever. Let's go. I'm okay with that. As long as we're picking on fucking Thursday in the first round, cool by me. Make our team better. Sounds good to me. Second round pick, sorry. I'm excited. That sounds good to me. I'll order my jersey ASAP. Just a matter of he can't wear 12. It's retired. It's like the only number retired by the Jets.
What's he gonna do?
I don't know what number he's gonna wear.
1. He's gonna be 2. The AFC East has Aaron Rodgers, Tua Tagovailoa,
Tom Brady.
No, Josh Allen, and whatever garbage quarterback the
Mac
Jones.
Jones.
Mac Jones trash.
Oh, cool. Dave Portnoy, his AFC East QB rankings: Josh Allen, Mac Jones, Aaron Rodgers, Tua. That's what he.
Did he put Tua left? Yeah, he's such a hater. It's the thing. Everyone knows that Dave's a big hater.
No, that's okay. That's just a chair, buddy. Well, I told you it was going to happen soon. You just heard this live reaction. I don't know what else to say. He got the blessing to wear 12, but he's going to wear 8.
Oh, did he wear 8 in college? Okay.
That's per Adam Schefter. No fake news.
Adam Schefter, I'm not saying that he called in and let us know this, but...
He basically did.
Via
Twitter.
Adam Schefter broke the news of Aaron Rodgers while Sundown Sports was recording their first podcast. That is forever hand in hand.
Yeah.
So if you don't think you're hearing the biggest sports news when you're listening to us, you're hearing the biggest sport news come out of the mouths of the greatest guys in the Southwest.
Unbelievable. I'm very happy. I know first round pick, I didn't want to give it up, but if we swap a first rounder and we just move back 3.
You also gave up a first round next year. Aaron Rodgers playing 65%. Unless the dude goes out there and breaks his ankle first day, he's playing 65%. You gave up next year's first round pick.
No, it didn't say next year. It said next year's second
Conditional.
round pick.
No.
Second.
Conditionally second.
No, conditionally 5th turns into a second.
I don't think you read
I
that
went on
right.
Twitter.
I don't think you read that
I read the tweets. Had to. If that's...
Oh, my God. Zach Wilson to the XFL?
No. We still need a backup.
Jets fans getting Aaron Rodgers all over the world.
That's too finer.
That's too finer. Just losing his mind. I don't know if we're allowed to use that, but
okay, it's a conditional
second round pick, and then if he plays 65%, it goes to first.
That's a lot.
That is. You have a first round pick up next year. Get 2 first round picks up. Swapped. That is what it is.
You know what? You take it if you're a Jet fan. How many first round picks is? Look. Everyone gave the Jets a hard time. When was the last time the Jets were in the playoffs? It's been like 10 years.
I don't
need to make the playoffs.
Sympathy for Jet fans because you guys went to 2 AFC championships.
Yeah, cool. 15 years ago, dude. I was a kid.
Okay, I can't remember last time the Dolphins won a first rounder.
All right, well, I think that's a good spot to end it here. Episode 1. What a time. Where were you when you heard episode 1? Thanks, everyone, and tune in hopefully next week, once a week. That's the goal. Stay cool out there, all right?